Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz October 1, 2016 at 1:16 a.m. Cross your fingers. Look, I did a blog the other day, and the title was My Strange Feeling and May Become a Reality. Well, I think it has. This is my third attempt. Cross your fingers. I can't go through it all. There's too much here. So let me tell you in a nutshell what I have, and this is what's on my mind, and it will be yours too when I'm done. There's two guys that call themselves two preachers, and that's maybe the name of their site, but titled "Something Unbelievable is Happening Worldwide" is the title. Then it says, this is part of it, the end times. So something unbelievable is happening worldwide, the end times. And, well, maybe I wrote that. But the two preachers, I'll put them down so you can go look at them and find them. But what they have here and what I wrote down, I was going to make a note, ended up writing the whole thing. But the WWF, no, not wrestling, World Wildlife Fund, they're in Galveston, Texas. They turned in a report recently, and they are not happy, not even a little bit. Probably, if I'm not mistaken, the largest reef in the Gulf is dead. And this was something that's 100 miles, like I said, off the coast of Galveston, something that's well protected. And you're not going to believe what killed it. Too much rainwater. There is something to do with the amount of rainwater, depending on how much of it runs into the Gulf of Mexico. And not only the Gulf, the same would go for lakes on the interior. But it has an effect. Some places it's a short-lived thing, like minutes, but keep in mind it doesn't take but 2 minutes to kill every fish that is consumed in this area, because water, just rainwater, doesn't have to be anything running off fields or anything like that, just rainwater that runs into the ocean in a massive amount kills fish. It sucks the oxygen out of the ocean water, and any of the fish that's in that area, they die. So these are the first people that are beginning to tell us the truth. And going back and tracing, this is what these two guys, the two preachers, are doing now, tracing to see if all the fish die-offs we've had were tied into huge floods just a day or two before. So we're on the same track. One day, in one day, and I can't remember what it was, but over around the Philippines. But in one day, 600 million, thought I was going to say fish, didn't you? Birds died. One day, 600 million birds. Yeah, in one day, 600 million birds died. And look, and if they're having that, why have the United States been keeping numbers like this from us? Because it's got something, it's changed something. And when I tell you what it has changed, then you'll be as freaked out as I am right now. And it talks about places all over the country and also talks about places all over the world. They're not having just a few fish. They're not having just a few deer or a few birds. They're having hundreds of millions of fish and billions of fish. And now, one day, 600 million birds alone. Birds. The worldwide number that came in of things that died on August the 26th, 2016, in one single day, was 3.5 billion birds, fish, animals died in that day. And this is a normal day. Guys, this is why I'm telling you. I did not hear this. I did not read this until today, and I've been on it ever since. You heard about the lightning strike that killed 323 reindeer in Norway. Well, I can understand that, but I can't understand two things. Number one, why didn't it kill the men that were standing there filming the reindeer? And number two, why did it knock the antlers off a lot of them? Was that a lightning strike, or was that some kind of experiment that went wrong? You tell me. I still hadn't told you the key thing I want to tell you. And you know about the Yellowstone River, almost 200 miles of it backed up with dead fish in Yellowstone. And I've got, oh, by the way, 90%, that was Indonesia overnight. Hundreds of tons of fish died in one reservoir alone. Just one. It said the lake flipped, and that's understandable. I know when they flip that usually that it kills everything in the lake or the pond. But a lot of time, if it's uphill, and when it flips, that stuff that comes out of it, carbon monoxide, if it comes down the hill and goes through a community, it kills people. It's done that more times than you want to talk about, or more times that people would want to tell you about. The Ukraine, 10,000 fish. You ready for this? Piled up on a 1 mile stretch of coastline, dead. Guys, that's a lie, because I saw the video, I saw the live feed, I saw the number of fish in a 20-foot area. There was 20 feet out, not counting the ones laying on the bank. 10,000 fish. There was 500,000 if there was one. Right there, they reported 10,000 fish. There was 500,000 if there was one, I promise you. But yet, and they said in 1 mile, the guy walks 100 feet and calculated and said, well, this many died in a mile. Well, there was 10,000 in 30 feet that was dead. I mean, the guy doesn't know how to count. On and on and on. This kind of information is around the world right now. And then it goes on and talks about the fewer trees that we have. And I'm going to tell you about that. The less ice we have on this planet. I'm going to tell you something about that. I mean, they're telling you so many lies, it's unbelievable. And then they'll probably shut me off as soon as they see this. All right, let me tell you right here, talking about the polar bears. All right, I'm going to change up again. August, the hottest August in 135 years. In 2016 is the hottest year in 135 years. Droughts, the most since records have been kept. Rain, storms, the most rain and most storms in 2016 since records have been kept. Wow. Cold, more records since broken in 2016 since records have been kept. Animals, most since the flood of Noah. The warnings have been coming since 1970. And that followed by stopping prayer in schools, and then 1973 abortion, and then 2000 Ten Commandments, and then on from there. Now, let me tell you this. This will be the last thing, and I'll end it. They said that all the polar bears, they're having us swim from berg to berg because there's no ice out there. We have a net ice, a gain on ice, guys. There's a little less in the Antarctic, but there's a huge net gain in the Antarctic today. Trees cut and burned. Today stands more trees than there ever has been on this planet. Today, yeah, we have a net gain of trees, by the way. Land cleared, they're talking about how much they clear every year in Brazil and all this South America. Well, guess what? Today, we have less cleared land since we've been keeping those records. We have more ice, more trees, more growth zones. In lieu of the cut trees that went for sale that in Alaska, Washington, Canada, and in Canada. So what's going on? Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on. They've been keeping this from us since 1970. We have been plugging at the prophecies in the Bible that needs to be fulfilled before certain events occur. Right now, today, here's the biggie. 52% of all wildlife, including fish, birds, deer, elk, reindeer, 52% of all has died on this earth since 1970. 52%. What does that tell you? It tells me that the Bible prophecy that talks about the animal die-offs and the fish die-offs in certain places at a certain time, and then talks about the severe droughts and then the severe floods. That's here, it's now, it's today. We're entering the very last of the last days right now, guys. If the UN's taking over the internet, that is the beginning. That means that they're dictating already what we can do. And if that is the case, we are already in the last days, because that happens when the Antichrist takes over. All right, 52% of all wildlife is dead today. Jody Wolf Expoz.